Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630.
WMAL.
8:37 on WMAL. Brian Wilson, Brian Neiman. This is the place where Washington comes to talk. And joining us now on the phone line is David Limbaugh, who is the author of a brand new book called The Great Destroyer, Barack Obama's War on the Republic. David, thanks for joining us here on WMAL.
Brian, thanks for having me.
Tell me about the book and what's the major thesis of the book. Sort of get the idea from the topic, but the title. But go ahead and explain it to us.
Yeah, and it really is a title that describes the contents of the book, The Great Destroyer. I contend that Barack Obama, through his policies, is in the process of destroying America, the fabric of America, our economic vitality, our fiscal stability, our fiscal sustainability, and undermining our national security. He's sucking the oxygen out of a business with his war on business. He's dividing us according to identity politics, race, religion, gender, and he's basically taking us on a destructive path that if we don't reverse and get him out in 2012, our kids will not enjoy the same kind of America that I enjoy.
Well, how do you feel about what happened last night in Wisconsin?
Elated. I think it's an indication that the country has had enough. I realize it's in one state, but the Obama Chicago community organizers put everything they could into this effort, and they stacked the deck against Governor Walker. They played dirty, and they lost. And they lost worse than the population or the polls indicate. If you look at the map, it's like the national map. All these counties that Walker won compared to the ones he lost. So it was an overwhelming victory, I think, especially given all that was at stake and how they nationalized this election. Yes, Republicans nationalized it too, but they're never the organizers in terms of national politics as the Democrats are.
Yeah, you know, it's encouraging what happened in Wisconsin was that Scott Walker actually ran on his record. He said, yeah, I did these things. I'm glad I did them. I'm proud of them. And look at the results. Unlike what we're seeing in the presidential election where the current president seems to be just attacking Mitt Romney.
You know, that's exactly right. I loved how fierce and bold and unapologetic Walker was for saying, no, I did what I did because the public sector unions were not contributing enough, and we needed to balance our budget, and he did it. He implemented his policies. He did balance his budget, and as you said, he ran his record, and he got them out of a recession and all that. And here, contrasting with Obama, he's obfuscating, he's demonizing, he's dividing, he's revving up his constituencies. He goes to Latinos and blacks on his talk radio shows and tries to get them to vote for him on the basis that they have to stick together and Republicans are the enemies and they are their friends. He said these things. And so he has no record to run on except a terrible record. So his goal is to distort everything he's done and to get people's attention focused on other things. But his record has been as abysmal as it's possible to be. And I'll detail that for you if you want me to.
Well, we're talking with David Limbaugh, who's got a new book out called The Great Destroyer. I did want to get into it. You said, hey, if there is a second term for Barack Obama, the United States has changed as we know it. Is there a point where we get to where you can't turn it around? I guess you're saying that in this book, and where is that?
I don't even think there's a doubt about it. I think we're quickly approaching it. We all know Paul Ryan is not a person who is given to hyperbole, and he's not excitable. He's just studied and measured, and he's not even contentious. And he says that experts tell him we have a 2 to 3 year window to restructure our entitlements and get ourselves back on the road to fiscal sustainability, or it will be too late. We have unfunded liabilities of some $100 trillion. We're growing those at the rate of about $10 trillion a year. So while we are also, Obama submits these budgets in excess of $1 trillion a year, all 4 years, his own numbers. And by the way, the next 10 years, the budgets he projects it by his own proposals, projected to be $700 billion a year deficit average. The CBO rescored it's going to be closer to $1 trillion a year. This is best case scenario. But if we don't get these entitlements restructured, apparently the window will close, interest rates will go high, bond markets will go south, and we'll end up being Greece. And for a generation, we will not be the world's greatest economy. and whatever, who knows? But it won't be the same as it is now and as what we've enjoyed. The dollar won't have the value that it has. These Paul Krugman kooks who say you can just print all the money you want to and it has no consequences. I mean, I don't care what kind of economic degree you have. That is counter to anybody's common sense.
All right, so a lot of conservatives initially had some concerns about Mitt Romney. Where are you on Mitt Romney? Is he the guy to lead us out of this morass?
Well, I'm being totally honest here. I supported Rick Santorum because I believe he was more reliably conservative. I think Mitt Romney, I've always wondered where does he really stand and all that stuff. And I believe I believe he's infinitely better than Barack Obama, as almost anyone would be. I'm taking Romney at his word that he's a conservative, that he's going to be a fiscal conservative, that he's going to be a social conservative. I've talked to Paul Ryan's people after they endorsed him, and they said Paul Ryan was satisfied that he's going to adhere to the kinds of restructuring of entitlements and reductions in spending and tax reforms that will get us back on the track. And so none of us knows for sure, but I am optimistic that Romney will be. I mean, he's good. He's got a lot of good qualities, even though he wasn't my preference. I mean, he's a good candidate. He doesn't have a lot of fire under him. But I want him to approach this election like he approached his opponents, Republican opponents. He was very aggressive. He was hard-hitting. That's what we need to do. We cannot understate the gravity of the circumstances we face. We cannot take. We have to take the gloves off when we approach Obama. They will be doing it, and it's important. It's not a matter of civil behavior and getting along and everybody drinking cocktails and being afraid to offend the other guy. This is the future of the country is at stake. This is bigger than us. This is bigger than Romney. This is bigger than any of these Republican operatives. This is about the future of our liberty.
David Limbaugh, the author of a brand new book called The Great Destroyer, Barack Obama's War on the Republic. Thank you for joining us.